I'm Leslie Easterbrook, and you're listening to the Dramatic Cinematic Show.
Folks, remember, you can find us at DramaticCinematic.com. And of course, you can also listen to the show on Stitcher, look us up on iTunes, or you can also find us on Facebook, Dramatic Cinematic. Don't forget to look us up on Twitter at TC Podcast Crew. Now on to the show. Greetings and salutations, Internet goer. Guess what? You found the Dramatic Cinematic Show. Oh, no, you didn't. Yo, yeah, you did. And here we are. I am Mugumbo. And guess what? We went to this amazing horror convention. It's called Days of the Dead. And it's not just another convention. It's just not a run-of-the-mill, bunch of spooks, bunch of monsters, bunch of bad guys sitting at a table signing autographs of things they did 100 years ago. No. It's more than that. This convention, folks, is for the fans, by the fans. And that might just sound like some sort of saying or a catchphrase to you, but they proved it. I saw with my own eyes, and that's what I'm hoping to share with you all here in the contents of the show. It's hard to just put into words how awesome a 3-day show like this can be. So that's why I took 1,000 pictures and video and 20-some interviews to share with you all. So let's get to it. First up, we had the opportunity. We talked to a lot of different people, right? And some people were better than others. Some that we already knew. Some were podcasters. This, that, or another. But there was this one certain special somebody that totally blew us out of the water. She was the nicest, most loving, just warming. She with her voice gave us all a big old bear hug. Her name's Leslie Easterbrook, and you folks at home might be familiar with her from such things as I don't know, maybe The Devil's Rejects or Halloween. If you want to go back further, she was in Police Academy. She was the blonde, what they call her? Oh, Captain Callahan. That's right. We all remember Captain Callahan, correct? Correct. She was also, and the thing that I remembered her from was Laverne and Shirley. She was Rhonda in Laverne and Shirley. But let me digress. Let's let her explain it herself. All right, folks, we are back once again, and this time we have somebody special sitting with the Dramatic Trio. We have Leslie Easterbrook is sitting with us, folks.
What a nice thing to say. Thank you.
It is.
Well,
it is
not that I'm Leslie, but that I'm nice.
You are Leslie, aren't you? Did I pronounce your name wrong?
I am.
You are Leslie. Oh, my goodness. It's been one of those weekend, folks.
He's going to screw up somebody else's name.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm just waiting.
You were so good in Friday the 13th.
Yes, thank you. I had trouble cashing that check, though.
Yeah, I bet.
Because it made out to me.
So how have you enjoyed the weekend so far?
This is truly one of the best experiences I've ever had, and I love doing shows like this. But this one there's something special about Indianapolis. And every city is wonderful. They all have their own personalities. But when I come here, I tend to, at some point, get involved with a group of people talking about politics and what should be, what could be, and what's wrong with this, and why don't I like that. And everybody has a different opinion. But we all listen to each other, and we all go, well, that's good. Well, that's good. Instead of saying, that's bad, and I don't agree with you, I get involved in these conversations where we move forward in our thought.
They're not asking you about law enforcement and things like that?
I know nothing about law enforcement. I only know how to screw it up, which I've done on occasion.
Maybe once or twice.
I looked at your IMDb page because I know better than to just assume anything anymore. And
even that can make a mistake.
You were in Laverne and Shirley.
I was.
I can't. Honestly, it's been so long since I've seen an episode of Laverne and Shirley, but I grew up on it.
Seriously?
I couldn't help it. Shamil, Shemazel.
Yeah.
Kaufland Incorporated. Do.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. I just funny how you go and look back in somebody's past, and what what things did you have like that you did one episode of that it was just like whoa?
I did 3 seasons of Laverne and Shirley.
Correct.
And so it wasn't just the one episode. I was scared to death. I mean, that was back in the years when they were really live because you didn't shoot on video and you didn't have monitors. So the cameras were massive film cameras, and the audience was sitting miles away from you, and they had to laugh in order for it to go out on the air. So you were out going, "Hi, Rhonda's here." Yeah, I mean, it was like being on a huge stage because your audience was separated from them.
Really?
And I loved the show. I had done nothing. I'd done Broadway a couple of times. I'd done, lots of theater, but I'd never done anything like a sitcom. And I felt like I was shot out of a cannon. And I felt so privileged. I mean, I actually made a living on the show. That was the first. You can do a lot of theater and you're still in debt, right?
Yes. I could buy food.
What? Yeah, I can buy food.
You don't have to work the day job.
Yeah, but I was playing Rhonda, so I couldn't eat it.
Oh, right.
Man, they put me in all these little outfits, and I always thought of myself as like a large character woman. And that's kind of what I did in the opera, I did in the theater, and occasionally I would do things that were sort of glamorous. But all of a sudden I was playing this bimbo, which of course I fit that category. I just didn't think I looked like one. So it was a real adjustment to make. And I was so much taller than everybody. It was like I would just come in and hover.
Well, because a lot of actors and actresses are much shorter than you expect. I did. Yeah. I realized it. Like I met, meet Danny Trejo, and I had no idea.
Because on screen he's massive.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
He fills the screen.
Yeah. I was surprised when I met Danny too. But when you get to talking to him, he has such a big personality.
Oh, he does. We went to his panel, and we were all kind of surprised at how he's so witty and very. I mean, his stories are just, they're polished very, very well, but they don't feel polished. They don't feel like he's telling a story that he's said 1,000 times.
He's been telling his stories for years because he's helped so many people get through crisis. And so he does this not certainly for a living. He does it because he has such a good heart and he changed his life. So he is used to telling stories from his life. And he mesmerizes you with them. Mm-hmm. No, and if you ever to meet his family, they are the salt of the earth's nicest people in the world, and they're they're kind, good people. But he's so big, he's so magnanimous. His stature and his size doesn't fit it, in a way.
He's bigger than he is.
He's like 7'5". That's the way I think of him.
You have to.
Have you been in a film with him? He's been in so many films. Have you been?
Devil's Rejects.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm clicking through my head. There's
we didn't
quite
get
a few.
to work together at all, but I kind of got to know him at functions and parties and that kind of thing, and I'm crazy about him.
Well, excellent.
You are not alone.
As I'm looking through your IMDb page, and what an amazing thing that is, really, especially for people like us who need to. Well, because you build up such a filmography list that
most of the things you haven't heard of and possibly never will, and that's a good thing.
No, you've done like one show like on all these Fantasy Island.
Oh God, you just
Trapper
mentioned
John,
the one show
Love Boat, Dukes of Hazzard. No, this is.
Listen,
80s extraordinaire.
I was on some classic older shows and always felt so privileged, and every one of them has a story, so I won't go into that. But I did happen to do 5 Murder, She Wrotes, and that was really interesting to go in and play on the same show all these different characters. So, and the people that I worked with just for a moment, but I had done a play with Ricardo Montalban, Fantasy Island, right?
Yeah.
We did King and I, and the Chula Longhorn, the 14-year-old prince, was Brian Tochi. Well, Ricardo was wonderful. He's just a terrific guy. So when I did my Fantasy Island, he came. He has a limp, He fell off a horse in 1949. So he has this limp. Here comes Ricardo Montalban, the gentleman of the world, all the way across, not just a set, but a whole field where we were shooting, dressed beautifully as the character was. And he says, "My Leslie," kisses my hand. He took me to every person on the crew and on the cast and said, "My friend Leslie Easterbrook is here."
A true gentleman.
Oh my gosh, it was just astounding. And then on what was the other one where I played Paul Williams' girlfriend?
Oh wow!
And he's like 5'2". And so we played jokes on him all the way through. I did all, and that was a show that you all know, and it was one of those shows from way back then. It might have been the Fantasy Island. And then Ricardo was there being charming, and then Brian Tochi ends up in Police Academy playing my boyfriend, Nagata, in Police Academy 4 and 5, and and that was supposed to be 3, 4, and 5 forever. Yeah. And
Your
Jerry
color.
Paris directed that, who was next door in Happy Days the whole time I was on Laverne and Shirley. Was supposed to be an Indian. Yeah, and to me, it was just candy and delight. You know, I was always nervous about my work and how I looked, but the privilege is being able to work with the people that I have worked with. It's astounding.
What are you working on right now?
Well, I just finished a wonderful film. Now, I hope it turns out to be wonderful, but I spent 2 weeks in Arkansas working on a faith-based movie. But it's about a kid named Brandon Burlsworth who played for the Razorbacks, but he was a walk-on, and he was the first All-American, first walk-on to make All-American. And then he was signed by the Indianapolis Colts.
And I think I heard about this
and
guy.
he was killed. He was killed in a tragic accident with a semi. But it's all about how his mother, and I got to play his mother, and I got to meet Barbara Burlsworth. They have a foundation, eyewear to kids all over the world for free. All these kids get to come to the Razorback games. But he made such a splash in Fayetteville and Little Rock, Arkansas, that they think of him as a kind of real role model. Because he lost his sight almost during the time he was with the Razorbacks, had to get these Drew Carey glasses. They have pictures of him all over their new stadium. He inspired so many people that if you want to do something enough, you can make it happen. So I play this mom with I have the little boy that we have scenes that going through his childhood and whatnot. During college, I did his laundry. My character, Barbara, did his laundry twice a week. They would meet at a little river halfway between Fayetteville and Harrison, 90-mile drive on Ozark roads, right?
Right.
The kind of bond and the way they all felt about each other and the way she steered him just created this. He was OCD. I mean, he was had to be organized. They teased him for years until he finally got to suit up and then made the play of a lifetime when he was a freshman. And it's a miraculous story. And I just finished doing it, so I'm babbling.
Well, no,
but it's called
I
Greater.
don't blame you.
It's called Greater.
Greater.
And Neil McDonough plays my son, 17 years older than the other son. The woman married Leo Burlsworth, who played at Grand Ole Opry, was a guitarist with Charlie Rich. She married him twice, but he had a drinking problem. And had these two sons by the same father, married 2 different times. And so Neil plays the older son. It's a wonderful character with pivotal changes in that character. And he was wonderful. So I can't complain. I'm working on... Everything excites me, but some things just give you a little bit more of a tick.
You mentioned something, and I've always been curious of this, that you filmed it, you've done it, and you hope that it comes together well, right? Because you
Unless
don't know.
You're editing, you have no idea. And then some of the shots, they're not because I've done films for so long. Some of the coverage wasn't the coverage that I would do, but I don't know because whoever's doing it, I figure that they're my guru at that time. But I don't know how it's going to cut together. You don't know what kind of budget they're going to have for sound and music and all the things that it takes to make it work. It was huge. Lots of football. I mean, giant film. Filmed on a relatively low budget. So you just don't know.
Have you done any directing yourself?
No.
Have you ever wanted to?
Oh, gosh, no.
No?
No.
Because you sound like you're talking about your coverage choices.
People to direct in theater, and I think about it a little, and then I go, I'm not sure enough.
I don't know if I'm that crazy yet.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I'm that sure of my own choices. I don't know if I have enough faith in my own integrity. And when you work with people like Rob Zombie, who knows everything, I mean everything, his shots, but he's kind and he's dear and he listens and he changes for you if you need it. He's very, very present, but he's very focused, and when he starts out a day, he knows exactly what he wants by the end of the day. And when you ask him a question, how should I do, he gives you a specific answer, which you can do. There's no hemming and hawing and maybe I should or whatnot. And those are the directors, Hugh Wilson and Police Academy. He was absolutely genius. Rob Zombie is a true directorial genius. And unless I could be that kind of director, I wouldn't want to be responsible for spending someone else's money. Yeah. And giving everybody all this hope. Yeah. And then going, oh, God, and then saying, oh, later on, I didn't get that shot. That was my fault. Because I have worked on editing now. And I know I really have, I think, good instincts for editing, although I don't have the patience for it.
Yeah,
so
I understand that.
It truly is remarkably exhausting, I think. But I can look at a rough cut and go, oh, you don't have and you need and you do. And when I looked at the films later where they've actually taken my notes, we have a film. And then I've looked at a film where they didn't take maybe just a few notes, where I have a producer credit, and I think it's my responsibility And we still don't have a real film, because I'll find ways to give you a subplot if you don't really have one. And you can do it through an ADR. Just simply put a voice saying something that explains a little something that you care about another character and not your leading character, so that your mind gets a break. Right. It gets a break. It gets to go on a fancy, and then you come back to the story rather than getting maybe a little tired of it if it's heavy.
You get it bogged down.
Yeah. Yes, bogged down. So I have some faith in my ability to do that, but not to create the whole thing. And my husband is a screenwriter.
Oh, yeah?
You know, he's award-winning television writer, MASH, and he started on Captain Kangaroo and Sesame Street, and then he ended up running Growing Pains and Bob Newhart, and worked on Cosby, and then Jeff Foxworthy, and he's just done an enormous amount of stuff. And I can't do that. You know, he feels the same way about directing.
Yeah.
He always has.
But see, having the writer in the house with you, that's half the battle.
I picked a writer.
Yeah.
I know I did. I was engaged in the late 80s, early 90s to a screenwriter. And I think I'm really fascinated with the creative process that gets you there. I can't do it. You should know how you look for somebody that compliments you because they don't have what you have, but yet you can help them because you have a certain kind of passion that they don't, and that the relationship works on that level.
Well, that's how I picked my co-host, the exact same way. I tried to find people that knew more than me, which wasn't hard. I had a very large selection. So.
Well, considering how you've been doing today, you do fine.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
So, as I was looking through your IMDb page, and I've had this theory for a while, that you starred in one of the Fantasy Island, right? Like back in the 80s. If you were an actor and actress, you eventually at some point were going to be on Fantasy Island, right? Or Love Boat,
yes,
or one of those shows.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Today's day and age, it's a CSI, one of the CSIs or whatever, or an NCIS, or
cop drama. Let's just say
or one of the
cop drama.
Law and Order.
Yeah.
Have you, without looking at your page, have you guest starred as just a one time on any of those?
No, I haven't.
Nope.
I have not simply been in demand in television for a long time.
Well, that's it. We need her on CSI. If anybody's out there's listening, so call her up, get her on a CSI.
I would love to do one of those shows.
Well, because there's new people in every episode.
I auditioned for an LA Law or one of those kinds of shows. Oh gosh, maybe 10 years ago, and I wanted to be on it so desperately and didn't get it. And I thought, there's just something about me that doesn't work in that genre anymore. But I used to do them.
Right. Well,
I used to be in that mill. That
as an actress, you kind of started off, like you said, on the stage and theater, and then into and then doing the television shows, and then into movies. And for the longest time, if you were a TV actress, you only did TV. And then if you were a film actor, you only did film.
Yes.
And nowadays, that line is completely blurred, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I mean, I look at someone like Neil McDonough, and I forget. Oh, and also, Circe. Oh, you have to know him. Oh,
Lena Dunham.
What's his first name?
Yeah.
Circe. Oh, he's a wonderful actor. He's on Justified. Also with Neil McDonough. Oh gosh.
I'm not going to come up with his name.
And I don't have fast enough internet to anybody. Who's the guy on Justified?
He's absolutely brilliant, and he plays this character, and he just wipes you away in Greater.
That's the lead
no,
Justified.
It's not Timothy. He's not. Oh, I forget what he plays on Justified. His last name's Circe. Searscy. He does horror films too. He's been Nick Circe.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Heard of Nick Circe?
I think I have, but I couldn't come up with his name.
He plays a character that is the devil, right?
Right.
He's just a farmer, but he plays this because it's a lot of it's symbolic in the movie. Knocked everybody out. The crew. They talked about these 2 scenes that he did for a week. They were so amazing. I mean, he just simply transformed himself into this character that's playing the devil. I'm playing the God character, and he's the devil, but I never got to work with him. We never had a confrontation.
They never had a scene together.
They're doing TV and they're doing films all the time. I think it's absolutely wonderful. I'm doing a lot of films, but nobody in TV is remotely interested.
Some of the best stuff out there is on TV right now.
Oh, I agree. I would give my arm to do it.
Or an HBO series. I mean, there's just... I see on Game of Thrones. I bet there's got to be something coming up with Game of Thrones.
There are a lot of weird people on Game of Thrones.
There's all types, yeah.
So I could throw my ring into that hat.
You've got the hair for it already.
If you're listening.
It's true. It's true.
We're demanding this as fans.
Yes, casting directors of the world. Hire this woman.
Notice her.
I would love to work.
Give her money.
I'd love to.
We won't take up much more of your time, but how can people find Greater?
Oh, it's on IMDb, but we just finished.
Okay.
I mean, I just literally finished this and took a trip to Nebraska to see my aunt who was ailing, and then came here.
So look for it in the future.
Yeah, I would say at least a year.
Okay.
Because it's big.
That's about right. So
it's big.
Do you have a web presence, an online presence that people can pay attention to? Or
Not really. I had a Facebook page and got scared. I set it all up, and then all of a sudden I would go on, and people from all over the world were IMing me, and I wanted to let them all, and I got scared. Now you can turn that feature off. But I just never went back because, I could never post my first post. Because if and I couldn't think, well, should I do it about what I'm doing, which is a little callous, or should I do it about how I'm feeling about what's going on in the world? Well, then someone's not going to agree with me, and because it became so international.
You kind of have to get that real thick skin because somebody's going to disagree and they're going to do it violently.
Yeah, and I have to be willing to take that risk.
And you can always have a buffer in between that too, to where you have somebody else kind of do it. And
there was a gal who was thinking of doing it, and then she got enough done and let some people on. I mean, there are like 40,000 people on GMX.com that I haven't even been able to get to, and she was doing all this stuff. It's hard to believe you have that many people that'd be interested. I mean, it's just like sort of knocks you over, and it's shocking, and it's wonderful.
It's a big number to hold in your head.
But she started doing it, and she wanted me to do my first post, and I think I was going to do a show like this, and I just got nervous.
Yeah, well,
it's just one of those things where I'm not nervous. I'll go jump off a hoo-ha, and I'll jump in a pool with people jumping after me, and I'll do all kinds of stunts, crazy things, but that's hard for me. But I would love to have I have my domain. I have a domain name. I've been meaning to do a website, and I just can't figure out what should go on it.
Sometimes just a placeholder, just like who you are, and link to your IMDb page, and then just the simpler the better.
Yeah, but
right?
then sometimes I notice people go to IMDb. They check their Facebook every day, and they have these conversations ongoing. And I think, just with a little bit of texting and all the work that I've been doing, how would you find time to do that?
It gets time consuming real quickly.
But you have to do it for your job, don't you?
No, I have to do it.
But somebody in your organization has to do it to thrive now.
Mm-hmm. He does all the stuff for the show.
Honestly, Twitter's probably way better for what you do.
You think so?
Because you don't have to respond to anybody. You can just hey, I'm working on the set of such and such, and look who I'm with, and just take a picture of yourself, and everybody gets to enjoy that as a fan. Sure, they can send you messages back, but you don't ever have to read them.
So that's fun. I mean, if you're really busy,
no.
If you're busy for a while and you can't, then
people
nobody
honestly
will be upset.
expect that. They don't expect, and then when you do, it's like you digitally reach out and hug somebody when you respond personally, and they know it's you.
Yeah.
It's like you reach out and hug them,
something.
and you have no idea. You make a fan that you already have. They're bragging about it. They're telling the world.
That's amazing. I don't think I have any fans that are that ardent, but it would be fun to do.
You never know until you get on the internet.
Until I get on the net. But I give out, like today, I gave out my email to people that, have projects and they want to talk about how to do them and that kind of thing. I don't have a problem with that because it's your email,
Right.
It's not like public.
Right,
and then trying to count those characters.
Yeah, right.
That gets easier as time goes on, but
it probably becomes a habit.
It keeps you from rambling.
Yeah.
It makes
do you ever find that you write an email and you try to just do those number of characters in every sentence?
I've also found I have a tendency to drag on and talk a lot, and I have found that it's made me. Yeah, I have found that it's made me more concise.
Well, that would be a good thing.
Yeah,
it'd certainly be a good thing for me.
It helps me drill down to what I'm trying to say and just say that.
It's a different order of thinking. It's just a way to train your brain.
Yeah. Well, but it's also trying to tell yourself or let yourself think that you're important enough that anybody would read or care.
Well, there is that. Yeah.
It's like.
Well, that takes no training.
I'm so inane. They really don't want to hear from me.
Well, that takes no training though at all. 2-year-olds do that. That's just a basic state. Yeah.
Look at me.
It's true.
Yes.
It's true. But I love this world we live in.
It's
with
great
all of this
to live in the future, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't you feel like you are?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's really amazing.
I hate to break in here, but at this point, a little something happened. I was so excited and so nervous and then so relieved and then so impressed and then so amazed and just dazed in wonder talking to this beautiful, smart, intriguing woman, famous, a celebrity, and she was like giving us the interview of our careers. And I got this tickle on my throat, and you'll hear me like right before this. If you want to rewind, I'm like, and I'm like, oh, it I really needed to cough, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't get up and walk out and go cough. I didn't want to cough in there because I knew it would pick up everything. So I hit the mute button on my microphone and really cleared my throat out pretty decent, which you can't barely hear. And then guess what? I hit it back on, and it being the way it is, the other microphones on the table don't do that. But yeah, anyways, so for the rest of the last 10 minutes or almost 10 minutes of this interview, I sound like I'm a million miles away. And because I'm only being picked up on the other microphones, but you guys really don't care what I have to say, do you? Do you? No, it's Leslie Easterbrook. That's who you really want to hear. So enjoy the rest of it. Just so you know, we're all like literally sitting there like kids meeting Santa Claus for the first time. It's just mind blowing how somebody that's a stranger, that's famous, that has to be wary of strangers, it can be that open with a couple guys.
Is there anything else?
I mean, I grew up on a farm in Nebraska, in a town of 320 people, and we had a party line. We had a phone in the house and a party line. And you had to tell people to get off the line if you had an emergency. Yep. You could pick it up and listen to these inane conversations if you wanted to. So, I mean, it's come so far for me. All of you are much younger than I am.
But, I mean, I grew up with a rural address, and I mean, we barely had a zip code, you know. So
we didn't even have. I was out there before zip codes.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I remember the first time we had a zip code.
And people freaked out about it. It's like, it's the mark of the beast. But
just like everything new.
Yes.
People freak out and say it's going to be bad.
Always the mark of the beast.
I just freak out and think, I can't do that. I don't think it's bad. I just think I can't do that. And then when everybody's doing it, I'm so jealous.
You just have more self-awareness than those people who are like, it's the mark of the beast.
Well. But there's so many people react to everything. How about gay marriage?
Yeah, right.
I mean, everybody
has the option to do what they want.
People should be happy.
Please, I mean, why are we judging?
Murder, but nobody should ever judge. If somebody's in search of happiness, why would we want to put any sort of rules or
damper on anybody else's, as long as it's not interfering with what you're doing?
It's hard enough for most of us.
We should all support.
Well, I can't believe that the religious right is so against it, because it's about family. Yeah. It's about not being promiscuous. It's about raising children. It's about it's really kind of loving. It's really I think of it as conservative. So the idea that marriage is possible, and that bonding is possible, and being faithful is possible,
and it's something that should be encouraged, not
I think so.
Personally, I've always been kind of the opinion that you just need to sever the tie between religion and state when it comes to marriage in general. You know.
Yeah.
Either everybody can do it or nobody can do it. Just make up your mind.
Yeah, I think if somebody wants to get married, I don't care who they are. It's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That they want to bond for life and they want to share a family. I mean, if
you found someone who can put up with you,
yes, exactly.
You hold on to that person.
And exactly. For 18 years we've been together. I spent half my life with my wife. And today is our 18-year anniversary. So.
Congratulations.
Thank you, and here I am.
That's a big deal in this universe.
It is.
This and most others.
We've each other on multiple occasions.
I think that's why you get married, because you have somebody to try to kill, as opposed to just being random out there and maybe actually pulling it off.
And that way when you're sleeping,
and you think about it. You think, I can't kill them because really our bank accounts are linked.
Mm-hmm.
And how am I going to write the eulogy?
Their names
and
on
I don't
the
know
lease.
what to, and so you think again before you do the killing.
That
where
whole
it's
till death till you part thing becomes a goal.
Yes, that's exactly, because it's made too complicated to kill your spouse.
If something happens to me tonight and she's like all bouncing around happy, guys.
She would not be happy. She would have so many ends to tie up. She'd have just all the stuff business you do together.
Picking out things you use insurance money on, wouldn't you?
It's much easier to kill a stranger.
True. Less planning.
That sounds like somebody with experience.
Well, I've had a few characters who just had sort of a random desire
to try to tie this show back together and bring us to an end that has something to do with film at the very final of this, besides murder.
Yeah.
Out of the films you've been in, what's been your favorite? I mean, do you have your favorite
I think
film?
you just asked her to choose between children.
No,
it's true. It feels like that.
Well, if you had
but I would
twins,
say that.
What would they be?
Oh my gosh, it's what's really hard to, they're so different. Is the first Police Academy movie, and then there's a third one that kind of goes in, or The Devil's Rejects, because they both changed my life. The first Police Academy movie was just bonding and wonderful, and then to have that kind of success and have sequels. How many people have that privilege? It's like being in rarefied air just to have the chance to do another one. But then Devil's Rejects came along, and it's so different, and Rob is so fascinating, and all the people who were in that movie, and all the fans that I've gotten to meet because you do these conventions. I mean, when you're in the theater and you're in the opera, you have an audience. It is a character. It's the fourth wall, but it's the character. It breathes with you. You know when they're happy, you know when they're not. You can sense it when you're on stage. It's part of your whole persona. And when you do films, it's all in pieces, and they put it together, and you never meet your audience. You never hear people breathing in a theater. You never know what's working or why it would work or why they made that hoo-da baba. So we do these conventions, and it helps my work. It helps my work to meet people who like or dislike a movie that I'm doing. I'm very interested in either or the middle of the road. But just comments. It's like I feel an audience breathing. I feel I'm not alone when I'm working. I feel that the people that I meet that kind of, I get to know a little bit, that I meet them a couple of times, that they're with me on a set. And that they're breathing with me. And it's really interesting.
Okay.
But then when Sidney Lumet film I did, my very first film, I got an extra job. I was in a Broadway show, and the casting director said, come out and do this little silent bit. I was there for 2 days, no silent bit. I had a nurse's uniform with cookie on my lapel. So finally, I didn't know what film I was doing. I didn't know why I was doing it. I was in Queens Studios, and I was eating bad food with the extras, and that was fine. I was happy. So all of a sudden, I hear this voice down the hall going, hey, where's my nurse? I need a nurse right now. It's Sidney Lumet. I walk by. I go, I'm a nurse. He goes, hey, Cookie, can you talk? I said, yeah, they tell me too much. He said, you're talking. I had a line in that movie, and it got a laugh. And the movie didn't get any other laughs. Believe me, it was not very good, really. But he was so amazing to work with. And Alan King was who I got to act with. Brilliant. That movie screened, and I got the only laugh in the movie on that one little line, and that helped me get Laverne and Shirley. So I have to say that Sidney Lumet sort of changed the trajectory of my career. Police Academy warmed my heart to just everything. The fans, the cast, everything has been wonderful. And then Devil's Rejects made me solid, and I realized what a great director was and what really, truly wonderful film material was. And having that honor to deliver some of the stuff that Mother Firefly did has just changed the whole arc of the way I view life. So we have things that change us.
So, okay, and then on the other side of this, what film would you put in? What film can you watch over and over again? Well, I'm not saying what is your favorite film of all time, but what is like something that you might see 20, 30 times that like.
I have a film that I am at the point now where I can't watch it because I just cry all the way through it, and nobody else liked it. The critics hated it. It's one David Lean film. It's called Ryan's Daughter. And it was not a hit. It was not popular. I mean, Dr. Zhivago and the other ones that Ryan's Daughter was considered. But it has to do with childhood. I was adopted. It has to do with the relationship between a father and a daughter and a love affair that is tragic. And the score, Maurice Jarre's score for that film, I hear that score, I start to just, I'm wasted.
And it rips your heart out.
It is a magical, it's in Ireland, all shot in Ireland. It explains so much about why Ireland has so much trouble with itself and with England, but just in an emotional sense. And with a love, with a marriage which has no warmth and sexuality. It's just all this stuff that, I don't know, for some reason it speaks to me about our loss in life and what's important to us.
That sounds excellent. I'm ready to check that out.
Well, you may hate it. You may go, oh my gosh, it's terrible. I've seen it 20 times.
Sit there out and cry the whole way through.
Well, it's because I know what's happening now. But I walked out of that movie theater with a guy who knew a lot of people that were involved with David Lean's company, and he was an agent, and he took me to see the movie, and it was in the 70s. And I walked out, and there was grass, and there's a cement sidewalk. All of a sudden, I had to get in the grass and fell to my knees. I couldn't walk to the car. It affected me so much. Wow. And everybody else hates it.
Hey, I feel I've got a couple of those of my own, but
okay, maybe I should have kept it secret.
No, not at all. Actually, that's awesome.
That actually telling people about the movie that you think everyone hates is how you can get perception to change, and so that's how non-hits become cult classics.
Well, maybe people would actually take a peek at it now, and maybe it would be more accepted now.
Nobody saw the thing in the theaters.
Really, it was a dump. I mean, just nobody went.
It was August 1982. They just they just had a bad release date. But everybody rented it on home video.
Yeah.
And everybody showed it to their friends.
I don't know if you can even get it on home video. I mean, it was so bad. so badly received.
Yeah.
That
I have ways.
And I even saw it because somebody just gave me a copy of the score, right, on CD. And it turns that Maurice Jarre got terrible reviews for his score. I mean, everybody got bad reviews. And that score... It's just lovely.
That was the opera training for you, folks.
It's awesome to see the passion of somebody's passion over a film they love, and we all each have
we all have them, don't we?
We do it all the time. That's why we do this.
I know you may not have time, but what you could tell me what
we've got as much time as you need.
Oh, what? Well, I babble forever. But what's yours?
Actually, mine's 12 Angry Men.
Oh my gosh, that's another one that I can't watch. I cry. It's such a beautifully written and beautifully performed, and it was great on stage when they did it.
That was the first thing in my head. Like,
he's just brilliant, and the fact that he said, "Can you talk, Cookie?" I mean, he just sucked me in. He sucked me in. I would have done anything for him, and that's what makes Rob. That's what makes a great director. What's yours?
Well, given the theme of the event and given this week, I'm going to go with Bride of Frankenstein.
Funny. It's a great film. It's a great film.
I fall in love with the new film by Corey Maccabee, American Astronaut. Black and white,
2001.
Musically beautiful, and just one.
NPR just did something on that recently.
It brought tears to my eyes. It wasn't because it's a sad story. It's just because I haven't seen art like that for so long.
It shakes you?
It just. I mean, I was like, the world has to know about it. It was made 2001.
I just read something, or either heard it on NPR about this.
Really?
Just recently.
It's a great movie, American Astronaut. He
yes.
also did a movie called Stingray Sam, and they're both very excellent.
Okay, see, we've had a wonderful sharing.
Yeah.
And these films are so different. You think about how different all the films are that we chose?
Absolutely.
And the eras that they came from, and... Yeah.
That's why we're here.
And they speak to us on a different level, each one of us differently. We can all...
And that's the answer this week. Next week, the answer is probably going to change all the way around. I know it is going to be for me.
Mine probably won't change unless I go and see something that rocks my world.
Mine's been consistent for 20 years or so.
Yeah, mine's been consistent for at least that long, longer, I think.
Number 2 changes from time to time, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I have a whole group that kind of fit in there.
Once you get that past that
I actually
first one,
put
the rest
Devil's
of them are
Rejects in the number 2 group.
It's a great movie.
Because I love the review. I think it was Roger Ebert, but I may be wrong, who said that it was like Rob Zombie put together Sergio Leone, Tobe Hooper, John Waters, and Sam Peckinpah. It was like it was like melding all of those.
I can see that.
That's what I saw in the film, the script, but it's what I saw when I saw the first screening for press. Because I told Rob and Sherry, I said, I can't see gory movies. I won't ever see this movie. Of course, I didn't realize that would make them hate me, but we went through that. And so then I was in Arizona. My parents were ill, and so they flew me over for this screening. And I said, I don't know if I can do this. And it was raining, and I didn't have the right clothes. And I went in, and I said, they sat on either side of me, and they each held my hand. And I watched that movie, and I said, this is genius. It's genius. It goes, so many things go on too long. Some things are too short. I mean, there's no formula in that film. You know, my husband can't stand it. He's a writer. And he says, that chicken story does not belong in that movie. And I go, that chicken story has to be in that movie.
It's not the same movie without it.
It's the nuggets. It's all these nuggets that Rob puts in, but he stays to his form and his shape. But he sticks in this stuff, and I truly think it's a work of genius.
He started off a fan. I mean, Rob Zombie was
he's a big horror fan
of film before he started making them. I mean,
and he's an artist. So you put that together. He's a visual artist. He's also, loves film
in
and
every
music.
interview I've ever heard with him, he seems like just the hardest working guy that anybody's ever going to meet.
I think I asked Sherry once, I said, does he ever just loosen up, and not work? And she went,
That's how he loosens up.
Fun is what you have what other people have while you're working.
But see, in the 90s, I read some of his lyrics. I used to be, not listen that much, but I like lyrics and poetry and whatnot. And I was aware of him, and I thought, this is really an exceptional human being. And isn't it bizarre that we're all sitting here talking about it?
I know. I remember how hard it was for him to get House of a Thousand Corpses out.
Oh,
it was
years. It was years.
I had stickers that I'm like, what is this movie ever going to come out? Like they were promoting, and then just everything stopped.
And he had all that cooperation with Universal. You know, he shot on Universal. Everything was really fine, and then nothing was fine.
Was Universal trying to kill him on Brazil?
Yeah.
Was it Universal? I know somebody just knocked him, you know.
Universal
version.
There's a
movie I've changed the entire story.
It's just the way studios work sometimes.
Well,
they think they know what they're doing.
There's a very good reason Universal has been repeatedly in bankruptcy these last 10
But they've put
years.
out good movies too.
Yeah, but just bad choices and good choices.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
And you really don't know when you make them if it's
No.
and that's what's so hard about a choice, isn't it?
And nobody remembers the good choices. They only remember the bad ones.
Yes,
Those
and they
always
talk
stick
about
out,
them on shows.
Well, I liked 2003's Hulk movie, even if you guys didn't. So.
I did too.
Yeah.
Ha! See?
I
You see?
enjoyed
I have
it.
nothing bad to say about the Hulk movie.
Okay,
Just
good.
people
I mean,
people
it's
expected
not
2
art.
hours of Hulk smash, and that's not what they got. So.
See? See, I'm making assumptions.
Kill me with.
But
all this
anyway.
That's it.
Anyway,
He's a Punisher
Well, thank
fan.
you for coming on the show. We really appreciate
Yes,
it.
we are.
well,
We're
I've really
thrilled
enjoyed it.
to sit down and
You flattered me with giving me all this time to talk. You know, like I have something to say, and
Oh
I go,
no, it's lovely, and as you can tell, you're holding court at the moment. So
yeah. Is this normal?
no,
This is abnormal.
Oh no! Usually there's a lot more. I don't know where the rest of
Well,
them.
And they're hooting
Corey
and cheering
Corey's
and
hanging out, but you know, it's everybody else has just kind of shown up because just listening to you.
well, also the show's over, so you know you don't have to do this and that and the other thing to keep yourself busy.
That too.
But this is fun. It's been like having a group discussion, although you haven't said a lot. You know, it'll be next.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, and
Thank you.
We'll see you again tomorrow. And
Yeah.
before you go, is there any chance I could get you to introduce yourself and say you're listening to the Dramatic Cinematic Show?
Sure. I'm Leslie Easterbrook, and you're listening to the Dramatic Cinematic Show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
I tried to give a little radio sound there.
Yes, it was really awesome, wasn't it? I mean, was she not just the most bubbly, happy, infectious, with her positiveness kind of person? It's weird. You go to a horror convention and you expect to see a bunch of evil, bloody, and disgusting things, which we did, but it's the unknown, the surprises. Those are the things that become the highlights of the whole show. And ladies and gentlemen, I really think this had to be the biggest moment of my life. Was she the most famous person I've ever talked to? It doesn't really matter, but I've never really talked to anybody. She gave us the attention that, like, not that we deserved, but that we've craved from anybody. Validation, if you will. And there's a part of me that believes it's because I put a really nice looking table together with really cool looking microphones. Yeah, isn't that stupid? But perception, folks. It does amazing things. And not that I was trying to create a lie. I just knew that gadgets and whoop-de-doos and widgets and things like that, people like. They like the look of it. And I don't know if they had it, like, you put shiny things on a fishing lure hoping to catch you a celebrity. But I wasn't trying to catch a celebrity. I think what I call it was a friend. And I think we all call it a friend. And if you guys happen to be at a convention, you should definitely go up and say hi. And, hey, we heard about you on the Dramatic Cinematic Show. Besides seeing all the awesome movies you were in. And all right. We got something coming up. But till then, I figured I'd play a little song. I picked out. I said my favorite movie was American Astronaut, and she hadn't heard of it. I was going to play one of my favorite songs, at least a little bit of one of my favorite songs or clips from that film, and then we'll come back and we're going to have a little something extra special from the show. Stay tuned.
Hey boy, I got a message for you about a thing called love and the stars above, and a little white dove since push turned to shove, to fist to cuffs, things really got rough, but enough's enough. Hey boy, I heard it from a friend about you, about your hatred when you're lying in your bed and your face turns red with your hatred fed from the things you said, and you wish you were dead because you're separated from the thing called love and and the stars above, and a little white dove sits pushed her to shove. The face to coast, things are really got rough, but enough's enough.
All right, folks, that was Corey McAbee's Hey Boy, from American Astronaut. You should definitely go check it out at CoreyMcAbee.com. Next up is a pair of monsters that we happen to run into Friday night at Days of the Dead. We have Jeff Wicked Beard Cochran and the amazingly hairy Larry Lutze. Harry Larry Lutze. I wonder if anybody ever calls him Harry Larry. I guess we'll find out. Greetings and salutations, Internet goers. You are back once again with the Days of the Dead 2013 Traumatic Cinematic Show. I am your host, Mugumbo. With me is Mr. David DeMoss and Mr. Michael Cliff.
Are we just making noises into the thing?
Yes, we are.
I am.
We are brought together with not just, I don't know the essence. I'm trying to think of the
You're
words.
trying to find words, just like the quietest entire floor.
We are joined by Mr. Jeff Wicked Beard Cochran and Larry Lutze, the man that knows more about me than I know about him. Lutze.
See, you don't even know how to pronounce his last name.
Well, all I do is
defense,
see in
he's had
text.
some
I can
booze.
spell.
Most people usually don't. So
I can spell it, but I'm not going to because that would be an insult to you, sir. Anyways,
He actually goes by Big Larry. That's what we like.
I know. It's like, oh, Big Larry.
Big
So you guys,
wolf.
I'm glad that you guys finally sat down with us. Jeff, you have been the leader of the Monsters Among You.
I don't know if I'd say leader. I'm just more of an organizer. We all kind of work together as a team.
That's what we expect a leader to say. If you had an eye patch and you kept your daughter in a closet that was a zombie, you'd be the governor, right? And it's about the only difference. Maybe.
I'm not sure that was
I
a
don't
nice
know you that
thing
well.
he just said.
No, it was. It was better than
I
talking
used to
about
wear an eye patch. I had to give it up.
Jeff, we have talked to throughout our traumatic cinematic experience, the road to the Days of the Dead. We have talked to Chris Blair, who plays multiple different wonderful characters here, and was probably the most memorable in my mind, except for the ones that you were playing last year that I didn't realize was you, which is awesome. I mean, that's what you want. You came out in characters that I wasn't expecting in this environment.
That's our goal, is to constantly surprise people.
Ladies and gentlemen at home, Days of the Dead. I've been to the other horror conventions around town. I've been to Gen Con. I've been to Comic Con. The support for the, and we're going to go into this discussion here because you both have a very good opinion on this.
I know what you're going to say.
The support of the cosplayer, quote unquote, Richard Nixon style, here at Days of the Dead is phenomenal. You guys bring an added element, an added dimension to the experience here. Yes, you have the tables with the famous people that you've seen the movies that you love and have experienced.
But what you guys do isn't cosplay, yeah?
No, and that's and I'm saying that as a generic term. That's where it needs to be discussed more, and maybe we will.
Cosplay means costume play. We don't play.
No, you don't
We
play.
take shit
You
serious.
guys are movie quality.
From the characters.
I have seen a Predator that is just phenomenal. I've got pictures of it from last year. That is
we actually
amazing.
both do Predator.
Well,
does
it
a
could be
far
either
different
one of you,
version.
and I don't know. I got nasty last year with the Predator, and I don't know which one of it was, but it doesn't matter.
Well, you're still breathing, so you must not have been.
Yeah, so apparently I was like, respected.
It worked out well for someone.
I somehow garnered a Danny Glover kind of respect from one of you. So
Well, they can't
It
be
works
all
out well
Danny
because
Glover.
we kind of play off each
shut
other
your
as
mouth.
different style predators. So
and
it works out
this
really
year,
good for us.
there's new characters. You guys, and I've already seen a couple of them. Tomorrow, we're going to have, for Saturday morning, we're going to do Saturday morning cartoons. And this is a horror convention, but there's something special about the Gen X 80s era of growing up with things like Saturday morning cartoons. And apparently, what is the rumor? It's Cobra Commander and Shredder, or is
Actually,
it
you're
Skeletor?
just going to see Cobra Commander.
Okay.
I'm probably not going to do the Saturday morning cartoons tomorrow.
Okay. Well, I was actually looking
But I
forward
will
to
be.
it.
Have you been to
have-
Canada?
Would that have something to do with the fact that it's midnight 15 already? And we've
And I
understand
didn't bring Shredder, so
What, Jeff,
Very disappointed in you.
He needs
That's
a little
okay,
upgrade.
but I can't help it. Yeah, this is a war convention, but I'm a Gen X nerd. I'm in love with the things from the 80s. It just makes the 80s so fucking awesome.
You were looking forward to Shredders.
Larry, you bring apparently the other Predator, the one, the dirty one, the one with the vagina.
My Predator
is that the one that has no? No, is that bad? No, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, that could be bad, but technically, when they open their mouth, that's
no, man, you know,
Gary Yannick.
But my Predator is more of a custom pred, so not your typical colors that you normally see if you've seen any of the movies. I like to be a little off the wall with things like that sometimes.
And what makes you feel like you're different than what we would consider a cosplayer?
We work a lot harder. We don't stand around and talk to each other through the whole convention.
Oh, meaning when you get into character, you stay into character?
You've been to Comic-Cons. You've seen cosplayers.
Yes.
Who walk around in costume, talk to each other, act like normal people, but they're in costume. We play the character. We don't talk to people. We do what we're there to do. We work the show. We're not playing around. I mean, we give Days of the Dead what they want from us, and that's
ambiance.
Yeah, it's really hard to explain.
It's not. It's
cosplay to me is a light term compared to what we do.
It's a difference. You are not just being at the show and around the show. You are part of the show,
right?
And that is the difference. And Mike here knows, Dave, you have not been to Gen Con. There is lots of cosplay at Gen Con, and there's some fabulous. There's some fabulous costumers or haunters or whatever you want to call it, that are
but
just
my
like,
question
wow.
is, do they play the character correctly?
Some do, some don't. There's so many 80,000 people over a 4-day weekend. There's a lot of variety, right?
Right.
So I get, and honestly,
the ones that do take
the first couple times I looked at it, it was like it was all the same, right? Oh wow, that looks really cool. That's a really neat Halloween costume kind of thing. No. There are those that it's a Halloween costume. They're just walking around because they can walk around in their favorite character and be accepted. Nobody looks at them funny or weird or
experience, a complete experience. When it comes to those costumes.
You guys, Monsters Among You, Heroes Among Us, are part of the show. It actually it's part of the experience of coming to Days of the Dead. It's not.
It's actually the brainchild of Adolfo.
It really is, and we had him on the show, and I discussed that, and it's genius. It needs to be supported and supported more. You guys, the talent that comes here is you're never gonna get Derek Mears, or you're never gonna get Kane Hodder. You're never gonna get even if Robert Englund was here, you're never gonna get them to get in makeup and walk around here.
Exactly.
And if they did, there would never be willingly or
but ultimately
the
those
same
are the
way.
characters that
But
people
you guys,
see.
but you guys do it, and you do it proudly. Damn it! They'll never believe you. We've come up with Days of the Dead. We came up with this idea. Gary Busey, anything event Gary Busey's ever at, he sets a fire alarm off, right?
I think it is.
Well, you know what it is? It's Bill Murray that always comes in. That's like, and he does it right in front of somebody. He's like, they'll never
party
believe you.
bombing,
and he just pulls it, and he's out of there, and he's taunting Gary Busey. It's
we don't know where he came up with that story, but he's been repeating it all
day.
He
came up with it about
2:30 last night. And it was amazing last night. And it still feels pretty good.
When we were watching Gary Busey,
fire alarm's going off, right?
Cigar ash onto our head.
And you know what? Most of my equipment's not that flammable. And I know Gary Busey's here, and I know Bill Murray hates him. And it's like
so you think there's a cigar being lit right now?
No, he's out on the balcony.
It's been lit for about 4 hours. But at this point,
there are a lot of people that are lit right now.
Exactly.
What do you guys see? Like, all right, I can already see the progression of what's going on with the. It's not cosplay. It's not costumer. That's an awkward term too. But you guys want to call yourselves professional monsters, right? Well, what about Deandra? She's not a professional monster. She is your heroine, and with every great monster, there's a great heroine. Of even if it is just an extra that dies under your hatchet or axe or claws or whatnot.
There.
What is the proper terminology?
I consider Deandra more of a celebrity look-alike. Because technically she looks like Heather Langenkamp.
Yeah, and she does it really well.
She doesn't wear a costume.
But that's harder, isn't it? I mean,
she has an knack for finding the correct.
And I won't even ask the question. Is like, deep down, do you feel like I heard rumor that she really doesn't even like horror movies, but she just looked like that's horrible.
Deandra connects with Heather. Deandra actually.
Oh, I know.
Deandra actually looks at herself as Nancy. She really does play the character well. Well,
we all are.
You could say that about all of us.
Another.
Wow. When I put the Jason gear on, I'm Jason.
Hey, I came up with my own audio name. You know, so like who's
Kooky
fucking crazy
Cucumber?
here?
Is that
Mugumbo.
What was it?
Like Deep Throat
Blue
Cucumber.
I kind of like
Deep Throat Cucumber 99. Oh, maybe you recognize me. No.
Wow. He really just did that on an audio podcast.
Yeah, I did it so hard I knocked my headphones off.
Wow.
So
way to go.
Okay, so we had Deandra on this week's show, and you're right. Like I find that you have, if she was heavy set and like 6'9", and she just grew like a 5 o'clock shadow every day, and yeah, she probably wouldn't play a very good Nancy, right?
Right.
So you have to kind of go with what you have.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if you're 5'4" and
now
200,
Sir Larry, you do some things that you don't actually have a mask on. You paint your face.
I do. I have.
You are the most beautiful Frankenfurter, except for the small like package and the tight thing. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was you. I was like, wow, I can't believe he shaved his legs for this.
Frankenfurter is actually part of
the hero.
He's one of the heroes.
Oh, yeah.
Louis been drinking. We apologize.
I can't help it. I've been drinking too, but I'd never be caught dead as being a hero.
What monsters are you guys going at?
You do the crow. You do
tomorrow for me is
and that's a no mask.
Yes.
Scorpion, Death Dealer.
Man, get over
Death Dealer from the Frazetta.
Get over here.
Death Dealer from the Frazetta
Yes.
piece. Nice.
My version of it.
I think with Jeff, it's pretty cool with Jeff and I, because Jeff and I tend to sort of be attracted towards the same characters. Both similar build. I'm just a little taller than him. And like for me tomorrow, my original and my classic in my big costume is my werewolf. But I have a new wolf, which is more
like, do you ever
along the lines of a lichen, like from Underworld.
When you're at home, do you ever like put it on and stand in front of the mirror? You're like, start listening to some Frank Zappa and just getting down and like.
When you see the size of this thing, you probably think
no, I was thinking of Warren Moon.
Warren
Moon.
Yes,
Warren Zevon. Holy shit, that's okay. I'm allowed to make bad references.
But other than those two, tomorrow I'll be doing my Umbrella Corp trooper from the last Resident Evil movie.
Excellent.
And
nice.
I got a special costume for the Monster Ball.
I thought you were going to say for me.
And are you
like you made eye contact
that for us?
He made eye contact with me. I thought he would be like.
Jeff does know. I've talked to Jeff, and it's more along the lines of actually a celebrity look-alike because of the things you can do with a costume. Actually a Rob Zombie concert look.
Oh, nice.
You, sir, could do a modernized Frank Castle. You could. I mean, with the longer hair, it'd have to be kind of greasy, like as if he's been like training for a while. You got to be scruffy, but still short. And then obviously Punisher, and then big weapons.
And like you said, I do the Crow without makeup.
Yes, you do. But you have that block chin, and I mean Jeff, you work out you're obviously you don't just sit in your lazy boy and read the internet and then want to be
out of the whole group. I think we were I think we're the only ones that do hit the gym.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's part of.
Not saying that's bad, but we're pretty anal about our size.
Like you guys are like so much better than the rest of us. You know, ooh, I'm gonna run in place for a while. Like I'm so much better than you.
Can you smack him for me?
Oh yes, please.
Oh goodness gracious! Thank goodness it was you because you had soft hands like a little girl, and he would have probably knocked me out.
I've been waiting for somebody to ask me to do that.
Two of the costumes that I do that are makeup only with no mask.
Are you naked? Is it like? Do you take it that far? Like, are you going to be Mr. Manhattan or Dr. Manhattan? Like, I'm just blue and a penis.
I do Otis Driftwood.
Driftwood. Oh, that's perfect. So that's got a lot of penis in it, right?
With the white makeup.
Sorry.
He's obsessed with penis tonight.
I can't help it. It is kind of a sausage fest around here. We had Ellie Church on here earlier.
Yeah, right.
And here's what I get to clean my palate with. I love you guys, but still.
And I also do Sweeney Todd.
The curly hair.
Oh, excellent.
Perfect.
Sweeney Todd, really?
Yes.
You have just
so you as a monster have taken it to where you aren't wearing the mask. You might be putting the makeup on or changing the character.
Well, there's
but you're not wearing
a reason why they call him the Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
So, they've kind of cracked down on some of the weapons and stuff like that. How does that affect you guys as far as the costumes
They haven't
go?
cracked down on
Any
any of ours.
shows? Yeah, no. Any shows that I've been at, anything that I carry that is real, I've never had anybody say anything about it.
And what happens, like you mentioned Shredder earlier that you didn't happen to bring this time, but with the new Turtles movie that's coming up, how? You're just still mad that he didn't bring the Shredder?
I'm bummed.
How do you?
I love Shredder. I can't help it. I'm an '80s
when
kid.
they change the costume, do you just go with this is what mine is?
My Shredder is not identical to any costume. It's a custom Shredder.
It's
excellent.
It has little bits and pieces from the cartoon, but I'm changing that. I'm going with all black with the silver armor and the purple cape rather than
excellent.
But there's no question that you're Shredder. It is
when I'm
so
finished
Shredder.
with it, my Shredder will be the best Shredder.
And you know what? And there's chances you could influence future presentations
just to work together like we always do. He's doing Casey Jim.
Nice.
Oh, and yeah, we talked about that last night. You sir, you are a great Casey Jones.
Yes.
You have the build.
Casey Jones. I wouldn't call him a hero necessarily. I mean,
he's a psychopathic protagonist. He's not there to destroy the world. He just wants to see it fucked up. Crazy.
He
just wants to.
I don't know if you guys actually read comics, but they actually have a series going on right now, and they might have just killed him.
Oh well, thanks, Mike. I guess I don't ever need to buy another comic book again.
I said, Mike, we actually don't know yet.
And even if they have,
they might or might not have killed off the character.
No, even if they have, it's comics. He'll be back. Don't worry.
It's make believe.
Yeah. Ultimately.
Are you guys going to be in Chicago?
We'll see how. We'll see what sort of influence we make here.
In Chicago, if you plan on.
We'll see what sort of waves we make here.
They're making it hard for us to say no, folks.
We put a lot online to do this, and it was worth it 100% already. And you will see. And there are things like Kickstarter and Indiegogo that if we he's in Portland, so that's the hardest thing is getting him halfway across the country.
We kind of just need money, so if you just want to throw some money in there for us,
yeah, no kidding.
Shoot!
If you want to kickstart our bank account, that's great.
No, we're talking about for us.
I've been trying to get people to do that for me.
To fund us, try to get there.
I'm not making a movie. I just need more money.
Oh, you don't they gave us $10,000 just to sit here and do this randomly. You guys didn't get paid? Oh. This is the second audio show we've ever done.
I didn't really get anything.
Sometimes I think I should, but no.
10,000 a piece too, not all together. It's each.
He lies.
Because horror fans are the best fans in the world.
Well,
they certainly seem to be.
But
I love my peoples. Yes, you're all my people. I love you.
It's being open-minded
fans any day
and liking a little bit of blood and stabbing.
Pistols at dawn, sir.
All right. Well,
folks. Wait.
I'll put my money on him.
Not comic book fans.
I don't care.
I'm talking about your typical Comic-Con
goers. Well, I'm sorry. I still have to stick up for them. So
And
yes,
I'm sorry that you have that shirt on.
10 paces.
You saw the new movie, didn't you? He's sorry. This man hates everything. He loved the new movie.
I won't watch
I love the
Superman.
comics, but Comic-Cons
I like the characters that
is no way compared to a horror.
don't have any superpowers.
I have to admit,
There's too many rules.
Punisher.
There's too many regulations.
No superpowers.
There's not enough after parties.
Punisher. No
It's just-
superpowers.
Exactly.
You superpower superhero freaks. Well,
I like Superman.
we don't need no mutants.
I'm a Superman fan.
Yeah.
Don't flip me off.
No, that was to them.
Yeah.
That was to the two of them. But anyway,
Man of Steel kicked ass.
before we leave you, favorite characters, both of you.
Well, Jason for me, of course.
Okay.
And you know what? Truthfully, I'd have to agree with him. That is actually, we do have a gentleman's agreement that when we do a show together, I have a couple Jason costumes and I don't bring mine.
What the favorite horror movie then would be? Same thing?
No.
No, favorite horror movie.
If you're gonna say favorite, I mean, yeah, I love all the Friday the 13th. I don't. My favorite, Pumpkinhead.
Good choice.
that's a great choice.
I
It's
go
not one
very
you
far
hear all
back
the time.
because I'm a classics guy.
Excuse me,
And
gentlemen.
mine would probably have to be Frankenstein, actually.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Boris Karloff.
Really?
He's above none, other than Lon Chaney. But Lon Chaney, I actually share the same birthday with.
Yeah, in mine, not that you care, but Pinhead, Hellraiser, except for the one that Doug Bradley wasn't in, which was just blasphemy.
Well, that would be the last, like,
Yes.
5 of them.
No, it's just one.
So
But
I choose Pumpkinhead because for me, it's a perfect mix of a monster movie, a horror movie, and a good suspense.
yeah. Yeah,
I think it's a little bit of
and I love
And Lance Henriksen.
yes,
Crazy
Frank
ass.
Black from Millennium. Yes,
Yeah.
Lawrence Henderson. He's amazing.
With a
He's just-
crazy ass accent.
like I love Halloween 3. Of all the Halloween movies, that's my favorite, which is the one that
that's
has
a mutual friend of ours' favorite too. I'm not a fan of
Yeah, my wife hates it. Like if she was here, that'd be it. I'd have to ask you guys to leave.
You know, my favorite is 6. I like The Curse.
Yeah.
For me, I actually like the remake. The first remake.
I thought you were gonna say My Little Pony.
Because I really don't care for... Michael Myers is not my favorite. He's at the bottom of the list when it comes to characters.
Yeah.
The movies did nothing for me growing up.
Yeah, me neither. All right, folks. What a great! Thank you so much, Jeff. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you for
Larry.
having us on.
I'm thrilled to have you on. I'm collecting the monsters and heroes.
What we do, and that you
And
choose to get
Probably more than you guys really realize.
Yeah, we're
too.
working.
I don't know if I've audibly like spanked you enough with my approval, but
There's always room for more spanking.
all right, excellent.
I think we've actually
you guys for
completed
being
our
on.
set of monsters now too.
No, we have not gotten Chris the zombie.
Pez, yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
we do not
He's a
have
man
him.
of few words.
We do not have. Oh no, he likes to talk to me for whatever reason.
Yeah,
But I like
only-
to. I tickle him, and he's like, "Don't tickle me." This
With
is
these two,
awkward.
we only had 4.
But I was just,
Pez is great.
It's funny to see a grown man piss themselves. So.
That's true.
All right, guys, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Well, all right, folks. That about wraps it up for this installment of our flashback of Days of the Dead 2013 Indianapolis. But that's not it. This is just part 1 of what will most likely be a 3-part series. I'm going to keep working on them until I get them all out. Hopefully, I'll have them all up by the end of this weekend. Which, when I say this weekend, it just by the time, this is like 2 years down the road, and obviously around here. Anyways, so don't forget, we are the Traumatic Cinematic Show, and I am Mugumbo. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher. You can find us on the Spreaker box. Yeah, Twitter is TC Podcast Crew. And also you can email us, traumaticcinematic@gmail.com. And real quick, I do want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to the monsters among you and the heroes among us. Jeff Cochran, you're an awesome dude. You really are. You made me very comfortable and just accepted me with open arms into the whole folds of things. Larry Lutze, dude, you're like a brother I didn't know I ever wanted, which is awesome. Chris Blair, literally Chris, he's the one that kind of started all this off. I've been following him on Facebook for the longest time, and he was the first guest we invited on to even see if we wanted to do this, and sure enough, it all worked out. The whole Road to the Days of the Dead thing, it just really built up the anticipation, and then boom, the payoff. But yeah, there's much more to share with you all. So please make sure you come on back. DramaticCinematic.com. I'm on the internet.